Oh, just a second.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the FPL Banger Show. My name is Siva. I'm joined once again by Sam. And Sam, you are still in the pleasure of being hosted by the top ranked FPL content creator in the world. How does that feel?
Truly in the presence of greatness.
I can't be beat, I managed to botch my free hit. I managed to go triple Nottingham Forest. I even captained a Forest player, and I still cannot be caught, Sam. And that's only because Man United, as we said, classy performance against Burnley, never in doubt, except for about 87 minutes of doubt.
Yeah, watch that game. I think if you were neutral, you would find it like great. Like if you knew nothing about football, and it's the very first match, don't know anything about United's heritage, about the disparity between the teams, you would think like, wow, football is awesome.
I'm still, there are kids waking up and watching this and thinking, well, these two really inspiring relegation battling teams, like United, sort of like the Wimbledon of our generation, battling hard, just about getting the win. Did you see Bruno pushing the Burnley players after he scored? I mean, when you win these relegation 6-pointers, you got to celebrate them.
Yeah, no doubt about that, Siva.
So Man United bashing out of the way. And I must say, Sam, you've also had a very solid start. You did need chips. You took a hit because you're you're Sam. Game week 3 hit for no reason at all.
I don't even remember who I brought in. Oh, I brought in Ilanga, who then was injured.
So,
but it's all right. It's all right. He has good fixtures up ahead. So
speaking of overpriced Swedish transfers involving Newcastle, Alex Isak has moved, and apropos of that, I decided that it's time for a change at my FPL team, Sam. And spoiler alert, or not spoiler alert, you've been following us on Twitter. I've activated my wildcard, Sam. And that's this is why the people are here, right? Let's get to it. Okay. So no messing about, no prelude here. I see a lot of content creators giving you very lengthy explanations as to why they wildcard. I'm not here to give you a dissertation, right? You wildcard if you feel like it's right for you. I wildcard just because I know what I want and I know what I don't want. I know that Nottingham Forest are never going to get DEFCON points. It's a scam. And not only are they not going to get DEFCON points, they have taken the most defensively minded manager and have appointed the most defensively inept manager in the entire Premier League. The only criteria for his appointment, as far as I can tell, is that he was born in Greece. And that's about it.
I think there's also the Morgan Gibbs White connection.
Yes. Morgan Gibbs White must be really pissed, right? Because he was on the verge of getting a move to Spurs, and now he's getting Ange Ball, but at Forest.
Yeah. I mean,
so Forest
basically,
players
it's like
gotta go.
you couldn't go to Spurs, but we'll bring Spurs to you.
Yeah. Got Spurs at home now. Chris Wood's going to have to try and press in this system. Nikola Milenkovic is going to have to do his best Mickey Van de Ven impression. It's not going to go well. And I don't need to hang around to find that out. We also know defenders, DEFCONs, like center backs are the way to go, right? Chalobah is getting DEFCON points. Tosin's getting DEFCON points. I mean, you can see my wildcard draft here, right? I'll just read it out as we go along. Petrovic, Dubravka, Senesi, DEFCON Merchant, DEFCON in all 3 games. Lacroix, DEFCON in all 3 games, but because he played the last game of Game Week 3, FPL didn't update it in time. But
is that what happened?
That's basically what happened. So for people who own Lacroix, they're really unlucky because he got the assist, he got bonus. He should have had DEFCON points because Opta recalculates the DEFCONs a couple of hours after the game. But because FPL locks 1 hour after the final game, Lacroix didn't get his DEFCON points. So unfortunate for people who own Lacroix last week, but I'm sure this won't happen to me this week because I don't think Palace are playing the last game. So I'll take my chances. So yeah, backline of Senesi, Chalobah, Lacroix, Goodmanson, and Tosin. I really like Chalobah and Tosin. Like, to me, that just makes sense. They are the first choice centre backs for Chelsea. I don't think Akyempong is a threat. I don't think Fofana is starting any games. He's been injured for 2 years. Jorel Hato still being eased in. So get these guys while they've got good fixtures. They're cheap. Midfield, Josh King. I mean, denied a Puskas award-winning goal against Chelsea. You got Semenyo, Salah, Gakpo, Dewsbury Hall, and up top João Pedro, Haaland, and Mateta, Sam. So, having seen this draft, Sam, and I know we spoke before we started, right? You haven't activated the chip yet because you're scared. Now that you've seen the best possible FPL team that money can buy, are you not convinced?
No, I think it's a good wildcard draft. I have barely any comments.
How could you?
Barely.
How can you comment on perfection? Would you look at the Mona Lisa and say, could do with a spot of paint here? No, you
I do.
wouldn't.
I do have comments on the Mona Lisa. I was in France over the summer. However, generally no comments. Yeah, it's a good draft, Siva. I think
Come
if
on,
King scored, everyone would be on him. So the fact that he didn't, it's like only those in the know knows about King. You know, probably the best 4.5 midfielder in the game right now. I would say, do you really need Salah, Siva? Do you really?
Okay, so let's talk about Salah. That's a really good question, right? Because a lot of people are questioning whether you need Salah. We did have a question here from FPL Spoon. Haaland and Salah a necessity on wildcard. So let's talk about Haaland and Salah because that dominates every wildcard draft. Do you go Haaland? Do you go Salah? Now I know the popular narrative now is Salah's too expensive. You don't need him. You can get all these other great cheap players and use that money. But the thing is, Salah hasn't played well in the first 3 games. He's still returned and he's still playing 90 minutes and stoppage time. And that is extremely valuable. An attacker for Liverpool, he's the only attacker who plays 90 minutes in stoppage time. He does not come off. Now, I think he should come off, and I don't know why Arne Slot doesn't take him off, but he doesn't want to. And he sold his only competition, which would have been Harvey Elliott. Maybe Chiesa comes on, but being scared of Salah because a guy who hasn't kicked a ball for 2 years, didn't start enough games last season, generally is usually injured. Like that's not a criteria for us to be concerned about. Salah's on pens, and I don't know if you've been watching, Sam, but there are a lot of pens in the league right now. Like we're getting pens every single week. We had, I think, like 5 pens last week. Refs, whatever, new rules about corner and tugging and all that other sort of stuff. We're getting a lot of pens. I want the guy who's playing for Liverpool who's on pens. Only nail Liverpool attacker. And if you don't own Salah v Burnley, good luck to you. But I like to enjoy my weekends. Okay.
Fair, I think, because if you're on a wild card, then you're taking a longer term view, right? Like this will be the team generally, barring 1 or 2 transfers here and there, but generally this will be the team that you want for the next 5 weeks, maybe, right? So I think it's fair.
And what I will also say about Salah and Wildcard is, where are you spending this money on? Who is this expensive defender or midfielder that you really need to have, who forces you not to have Salah?
Well, not
Because
right now.
DEFCON defenders are all in the 5 million bracket. Premium midfielders are all crap or injured. And I can afford Haaland. So who is it that I can't afford here that I need to sell Salah for?
Yeah, I think at the moment in this very next game week, because of the injuries to Saka, to Palmer, and a lot of these other players, right? It does feel like you have a lot of cash,
Yeah. Things will change, as you know, things will always change. But it's easier to sell Salah rather than trying to buy him back.
Yep. Unless you have committed to going no Salah for an entire season, like some managers may do.
And I applaud your bravery. It's good for you. Like that's you enjoy your weekends. I don't have that strength, nor do I think it is warranted. I think a lot of people are reading too much into Salah's quiet few starting games. I did say I free hitted last week, right? So I knew we spoke about the Arsenal game in advance. And we said it was going to be narrow, it was going to be tight. Arsenal got to set up to defend, and they did all those things. So people selling Salah because he blanked via Arsenal is the most short-sighted thing I can think of. And he blanked against Newcastle. He got an assist, right, against Newcastle. The only reason he gets that assist is because he's on the pitch at 96 minutes. Nobody else is going to be on the pitch that long. and it's Newcastle. So Newcastle away, one of the hardest games in the league. Got a goal in game week 1. Can't ask for more than that. So I think for 3 tough fixtures for Liverpool, he has done okay, and I would rather enjoy the easy fixtures than sell before the easy ones.
Fair point, Siva. I really have no comments on your draft. I mean, I have personal biases. Like, I'm telling myself I will not buy Salah this season because he's the most expensive player in the game. I refuse to buy João Pedro out of principle. But other than that, no comments. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about João. Let's wait before we get to João Pedro. Let's sort of finish off, FPL Spoon's question. Haaland and Salah necessity. Okay, so let's give something that you like, Sam, because you own Haaland, right? I didn't own Haaland, and Haaland was a big reason why I activated the chip, because I mean we can just sort of skip ahead to fixtures for a second, right? If you can see the ticker now, Man City play, for my money, 3 teams who will be facing a relegation battle this season in the next 4 games, right? They've got Man United, Burnley, and Brentford. All very bad teams, okay? Who I expect to be in the bottom half.
Yeah. And Haaland does really, really well against United every time.
He sees in his head that image of Roy Keane and he's like scoring this hat trick. Like, I'm going. Haaland scored 5 goals against Moldova and apologized to the Moldova keeper after each goal. I'm sorry, I did this. It's goal difference. That's why we have to keep scoring these goals, because Norway really want to qualify for the World Cup. So he feels bad, right? And he's scoring all these goals. Omar Mamouche is out today. That's perfect. I like it. It means Haaland's penalty share goes from 100% to 150%. Good. Okay. Yeah, people are worried that, Mamouche is not around, so City's attack. It's Pep. Like, if you still want to doubt Pep after 10 years, not 10 years, after 20 years of success, you be my guest. I'm not doubting Pep. He'll figure this out. He'll get them attacking. And even on a bad day for Man City against Brighton, Haaland still scores. Max bonus.
Yep. I think Haaland, if you had to choose one between Salah and Haaland, I would go for Haaland. Not only because I have Haaland and I refuse to get Salah, but even just looking at it independently, right? He is slightly cheaper. He has good fixtures, and he does pass the eye test more than Salah.
Of course, you don't have to choose, which is why my draft works better, Sam. But
I'm just saying,
we'll
if
pretend.
you had to, Siva,
Pretend. Let's talk about other strikers, right? Because we move away from Haaland and Salah. Let's talk about your João Pedro conundrum, because we did have a question here from NDU about whether you should sell Palmer and he needs Pedro. João Pedro. Let's talk about João Pedro for a second. Where are you at, João Pedro? Since you say you are going to go without him out of principle, I can only assume your principle is that you want to get more red arrows.
It does seem to go that way, Siva, in my past few seasons. My principles seem to be dragging me down. I don't know. I don't know why. I didn't own him last season. Which, if you did, and then this season you're like, no, after what he did to me last season, I'm not going to get him in. I can understand that. I think I just have a irrational dislike of João Pedro.
Let me give you some rational points, right? He's the starting striker for arguably the 3rd best team in the league. And his only competition is injured in Liam Delap, out until November. And his other competition is a guy who wasn't good enough to get into the Sunderland starting team. Okay, Mark Guew, who... Oh, sorry. So I didn't finish why I activated the wildcard. It's because I own bloody Mark Guew, right? 4.4 million. I have taken a price drop on my 4.5 million forward, who in 3 weeks has gone to being game-breaking budget forward to Chelsea asset who does not play and is 4.4 million. So yes, that's why I activated my wildcard, because I was so pissed.
I just want to say I kind of warned you about this, like way back when building the team. I've seen it happen again and again, Siva.
You did not warn me that Chelsea would call this guy back. Wait.
No one warned Mang Yu that Chelsea would call him back.
And he had an Instagram post saying farewell to Sunderland. It took more time to read that post than the minutes he played. Okay, but I digress. So yeah, Jao Pedro, I think it's just a no-brainer, and I think you're fighting almost reality. He's 63% owned. I don't even like ownership, but why are you taking this big a gamble on a dude who is scoring goals? He's in form. He's cheap. It's a good team. His minutes competition people are all injured. I mean, his only real competition is what? I can't even tell you who his competition is, right? They're not going to start playing Copama up top. They're not going to play Estevao up top. He's Brazilian, so that helps, right? He's going to help Estevao. He's apparently he's teaching him English and stuff.
All fair points, Siva.
I like that this podcast is basically 50 minutes of you just saying, yep, can't disagree with that. I like it. I will sort of bully you into silence here, Sam.
I'm still not getting Pedro. I think a big part of that is that because his ownership is 60%. Like, that's disgusting. Okay? No player should ever be owned that much by that many players.
Yeah, but that also means you're going into every game week hoping that 7 million people get unlucky, which is not,
Which I'm
not the
fine
kind
with.
of odds.
Which I am fine with. I've lived with that,
Okay. Let's talk about the other forwards because there's a lot of talk about Hugo Ekitike. And
Okay.
we both have Hugo Ekitike, at least in our current teams. What are you doing with him now that Alex Isak is signed?
I don't think Isak starts the next game, which is the big game that you want, right? The Burnley game. So I think that's part of the reason why I'm not planning to activate my wildcard this week, because I feel like I can get some more mileage out of my team, like one more game week, maybe two, before I go, okay, right, I need to get this first off, to get Ekitike off and things like that.
Okay. We had a few questions about Ekitike. FPL Mark, Ekitike over Yokeresh on wildcard. AFC Whisperer, is Ekitike the option to go for? I'll tell you my issues with Ekitike. I think if you are like in your position, Sam, you don't have a chip and you already have him, fair enough. But I think if you are wildcarding this week, I'll tell you why I don't want Hugo Ekitike. This is why, right? Very basic research. It doesn't take long to find this out. Hugo Ekitike has played left wing 4 times in his career and center forward 122 times. Cody Gakpo has played 220 games at left wing. If I'm on a slot, there's only one guy who's getting dropped here. It's Ekitike. Doesn't matter how good he's looked, doesn't matter how well he started, he's the guy getting dropped. And that's with the information we have as of now. So to pick him when I'm almost certain he comes off on 80 minutes against Burnley and Isak gets the last 10. And then against Everton, he's coming off on 60 or 70. Isak gets the last 20 or 30. And that's going to keep happening. I think if you're on a chip, Ekitike is a no-go.
To add, like, Champions League is about to start up, So I can see Ekitike playing more in the Champions League and Isak playing more in the Premier League. I think, like you said, if you have him, you can keep him for another week. You get, 80 minutes at least, 70, 80 minutes this week. But on a wild card or as a transfer, I think you kind of missed the boat already, right? We've already enjoyed our Ekitike points and, probably will not be able to continue.
Yeah. Own, if you already own, yeah, Game Week 4 is fine. And if you don't own, I wouldn't be going there. Let's talk about Yokeresh and less about stats here because I'm tired of this. The Victor Yokeresh, the whole sort of narrative online is very Darwin Nunez-y sort of. Let's look at all his comps against Kosovo. Can't control the ball, so therefore he's bad. Like, none of this is relevant. Right? I don't really care about his ball control or the fact that Sweden lost to Kosovo. So what? My bigger issue with Yokeresh and why he's unlikely to make my wildcard team is I look at these fixtures and I'm really not. They don't scream goals to me. Forest looks like a good fixture now than it did, say, 3 days ago. Sure. Man City, again, it's Arsenal, right? We typically are going to set up low block defensively. Newcastle away, no thank you. Okay, West Ham's fine. Fulham's fine. Palace is okay. But 5 and 6 don't scream like I want to have this 9 million forward, even if he is starting for Arsenal.
Agreed. Yeah. Bad fixtures. Why would you bring in someone with these fixtures up ahead? Right. Like I would think maybe game week 7 will be your entry point. You can hold off for a few more weeks.
Yeah, I think so too. And to be honest, that's my opinion about most of Arsenal. I'm not really rushing to own any Arsenal players. I love my team, but these don't seem like fixtures. Defense, obviously, against Forest. I mean, easy enough. And we had a question here from Joseph Melvin about Chris Wood. I mean, now that Ange at the wheel, is Chris Wood essential? I mean,
No.
Chris Wood, Sam, has flown halfway across the world, got beat twice by Australia because for some reason New Zealand, I guess nothing else to do, play Australian back-to-back friendlies. He's been beaten by Australia twice and has flown all the way back just to find that his manager is now Australian and is going to ask him to run a lot more. As far as international breaks go, this must be one of the worst.
Yeah. Now that you mention it, I think his resurgence, right? Because Wood has been around in the Premier League for a long time, but he's never been a top player, I guess. And I would say the past 2 years is just the system was perfect for him and everything was clicking into place. But now that the system has gone, and Ange is very much a system manager, right? He's not gonna leave things the way they were. I don't think Wood will thrive in this system, which is sad because I really did enjoy the Chris Wood resurgence last season. But all good things must come to an end, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you can't have Wood forever. Um, come back to the wildcard teams now because we're not done with our wildcard questions here. We have a question from Ignatius, and
Speaking of that
maybe
though, before we move on, I saw a comment. So I don't know who said it, someone on Reddit, but I'm not gonna take it as my own. But someone asked who is the best transfer to replace Wood, and the best comment was naturally it should be Timber.
sure, sure.
Okay, moving on.
The peak of Reddit FPL analysis. Ignatius, chip strategies. Is it better to bench boost with a suboptimal team and then wildcard, or wildcard for the bench boost team and then but leave money on the bench? Okay, so long story short, right? Do you set up your bench boost with the wildcard or do it prior? I mean, of course,
Depend-
if you've got a team
yeah,
that's ready to go, bench boost, yeah, you go ahead. But
depends who is your team. Like if you have Gu on your bench, then do not bench boost. That would be our advice.
yeah, this team, by the way, is looking at a bench boost in Gaming 5. Goodmanson plays Wolves. Okay fixture. I must confess that I am a little worried because Matt Leeds goalkeeper Perry apparently has picked up an injury, and so Carl Darlow may play. And everything I've seen of Carl Darlow suggests that he's not a very good keeper. So I'm a little concerned about that. Josh King against Brentford in Game Week 5, very decent. I think even I'll take 70 minutes. Fulham attacking midfielder against Brentford. And Dewsbury Hall against Liverpool, not ideal. I am considering finding 5 million in this draft, Sam, to get a 5.5 million midfielder. And I would like you to guess who that 5.5 million midfielder is, because I feel like we could sit here for an hour and you won't get him.
Hmm. Let me just take a quick look at the 5.5 midfielders.
Yes, because 5.5 million midfielders was supposed to be like this gold mine. I don't think it has worked out that way, but there is one guy who has returned in the last two games who to me looks like, nailed on attacker, gets goals, decent underlying data. He's getting the XG. Um, very promising youth product from the best team in the world.
Is it Jaden Anthony?
It is Jaden Anthony, Sam. And I guarantee you, no other podcast is going to talk about Jaden Anthony this week, but I'm going to talk to you about him. Burnley's fixtures are not great. Okay. They play Liverpool this week. And that puts everyone off. But I am seriously considering leaving Jaden Anthony on my bench and playing 5 at the back. So there's a version of this where Gakpo doesn't come in and I just get Grealish instead, or maybe even Paqueta. And I have enough money for Jaden Anthony. I get Danny Munoz and play 4 at the back. Jaden Anthony, 5.5 million. returned against United, returned in game week 2. He is playing 90 minutes for Burnley each week, left wing attacker. 8 goals last season, decent, but more importantly, he's cheap and his underlying data is not like fluky. He's getting zero point 0.4, zero point 0.5 xg each week, which is very decent. Small sample size, obviously.
Yeah, true. He's not gonna play United every week though.
Very unfortunate. Yes,
Like
he's
the
already played his easiest game.
inflated numbers because he's played United, he's played Sunderland, right? So I think that's where. But I'm looking at it right now. He did pretty well even against Spurs. Yeah, I think it's a good shout.
0.44 xg against Spurs in a opening day defeat, and he's an Arsenal youth product. I mean, I got a soft spot. 5.5 million. These aren't the worst fixtures once if you know where to bench him, because right, Burnley, okay, Liverpool bad, City bad, but around that I think Forest is great. I think Villa is fine. Leeds, Wolves.
I guess, right? Like, but do you really want a 5.5 midfielder to sit on your bench just to come in for that one bench boost week and then continue being on your bench? Feels a bit too much money to leave there.
Which is why I think Dewsbury Hall ultimately will make the cut, because he's just 5 mil. He's too good at 5 mil, right? That is almost like kind of it's negligence really. I mean, he scored last week. He is playing 90 minutes for Everton, which is quite an achievement considering the number of attackers they've signed. But coming back to Everton, Sam, and we did have a question here about whether you should go for Grealish or Ndai. I've had a lot of drafts with Jack Grealish, and I'm really tempted by Jack Grealish. But you, Sam, let's talk to you, someone who owned Iliman Ndai for a brief period of time this season.
Oh, my goodness. Yes. Yes, I did own Ndai in game week 1, sold him, and then he proceeds to score 2 goals in a row. I would say Grealish looks really good, right? He looks like a man reborn. But he has one thing going against him this week, which is the fact that
Which is what?
he's the most transferred in player of the week, which never ends well. On a long-term plan, though, I think he'll be good, right? Probably blank this week, and then go on and continue scoring, assisting, just doing Grealish things.
Honestly, most drafts I've had have had Grealish over Gakpo, just because I really love Grealish as a long-term pick. Because there are a couple of things, right? The minutes are really, really secure. Like, I don't see him losing that spot anytime soon. He's already got more assists this season than he had in the whole of last season. Okay, which is crazy. And these are decent fixtures, right? Everyone's looking at Liverpool in Game Week 5, but I mean, it's a derby, right? So anything can happen. And Villa, best time to play them is now, right? They're all over the place. Marco Bizot, Marco Bizot, Marco Bizot. West Ham, okay, not as easy a fixture as I thought it was a few weeks ago, but still okay fixture at home. Palace, okay. City, not that bad. Spurs, not that bad. And Everton don't have Europe, so he's getting enough rest midweek. I just like, he's a talismanic player even if he's not on pens.
Yeah. And we always like talismanic players in smaller teams, you know?
Yeah.
I think Grealish is a great shot. And I have a lot of nostalgia for Villa era Grealish, which was amazing for my FPL team back in the day. Yeah, I like it. I like it.
But question from AFC Whisperer was Grealish or Ndai. Now,
Hmm.
we think Ndai is on pens. So does that tip the scales?
Grealish minutes more secured though? Is it?
It assumes that
It's so
Tyler
hard.
Dibling eats into Ndai's minutes, and I don't know if that's going to be the case.
I mean, he did come off in game week 2, right? But I can't
Apparently,
remember.
I don't
Was
know.
it an injury? Yeah. Okay. It's really tough because Indai looks to be more of a goal scorer as well. Like Grealish assists, you know. I think it's
That's
better off
not really
preference.
answering the question, Sam. I mean,
Right.
gun to your head. Okay, I'll help you.
ignoring nostalgia, I will go and die. And
Yeah, I
ignoring the
think it's a
fact that I
head.
once had him and like taking out all the biasness, I will go and die. Because
I think it's a
you
head
would
says and
always
die,
want
heart says
yeah.
Grealish kind of thing, right?
Yeah. The head says get the goal scorer, not the assister, right? Heart says I'm happy to see Grealish doing what he does best again. So
Yeah.
get him for the vibes. The vibes are stronger with Grealish. Stats are stronger with Ndai.
I'm a vibes guy. I like Grealish. I'm always going to be a vibes guy. And I think Ndai, as much as he's done well, I think his shot count is a little low. And so that coupled with the fact that I'm more concerned about his minutes compared to Grealish, I think I would still lead to Grealish. And also Grealish, I mean, if you're getting him in a wildcard, it's easy enough to move to Ndai if you need to, being cheaper. Other midfielders, we got to talk Lucas Paqueta, Sam, because obviously he's got some good lawyers. And he also seems to have recovered his form of the pitch. Okay, he's scoring bangers, he's scoring pens. He's got very nice celebrations. He's putting the phone down on all these transfer
yeah,
rumors.
yeah.
Um, these are decent fixtures, but Lucas Paqueta has not been a goal scoring midfielder for the last 2 seasons. So is this flash in the pan, or is this something that's actually going to keep up?
I'll go for flash in the pan. For the past 3 seasons he's been there, he has scored 4 goals exactly in the past 3 seasons. So these 2 goals in the past 3 game weeks already used up 50% of his KPI. 50% of the goals quota. Like that's it. You only get 2 for the rest of the season.
That's crazy though, because it feels like he scores a lot of goals. Like I always feel like I'm seeing him
It does,
dancing.
right? It does. But he's had okay, last season not so good. 4 goals, 1 assist. Season before that, 4 goals, 6 assists. Season before that, 4 goals, 5 assists. Not the best, and he's priced accordingly, I guess. Right? He's always been like a 5.5 midfielder. This year, he's a 6 million midfielder, which I feel feels a bit overpriced. And I don't know what happened last week because they were dire 2 weeks before, and then suddenly last week they were, I don't know, prime Barcelona, and I don't know how
What I
much do
would
you expect this to continue.
what I would say about West Ham though is that they did sign a new midfielder, and that really helps, right? They signed Matthias Fernandes from Southampton, and what starting Ward-Prowse and Soucek in a pivot will do to a person versus having an actual midfielder playing alongside them. They looked a lot better. Yeah, it's one game. It's Forest, and it was 0-0 until about 85 minutes. So a lot of caveats there. I think, but I take your point, Simon. I'm probably with you. I think Paqueta scoring 4 goals in a season is kind of a red flag, and maybe this is just one of those things. And his XG in game week 2 was not 0.08 or something like that. It was just a Robert Sanchez goal, basically.
And not the easiest fixtures coming out as well. Like Spurs, Palace, Everton, Arsenal.
Yeah.
Then you get, some Brentford and Leeds. So too much for me, I think. Even at 5.9, I feel you can get better players.
Can you though? I mean, who are these 5.9 million midfielders you're getting, Sam, who are better? Because I can't think of any.
I even go Hall. Like I have more confidence in Hall returning than Paqueta.
Okay, fair. Dewsbury Hall. I mean, he's got set pieces and some more open play threat. I think the fact that he's 5 million just makes it better because you save that 0.9, you do a lot more with it. You go get a better defender because 0.9 takes you from someone like, I don't know, Rodon all the way up to Tosin. And we didn't speak so much about my awesome defense, Sam, but let's sort of come back to it for a second, right? Tosin Adarabioyo, starting defender for Chelsea. He's getting DEFCONs and he's 4.5.
Yeah. He looks good. Right? I have fond memories of Tosin from his time in Fulham.
Why? What are these fond memories? The
I
only
joke.
he has no fond memories, by the way, because he posted after the win against Fulham on Instagram, like moving to higher heights.
Now, I once signed Tosin on a free transfer in my FM team, and he carried my team to Premier League glory. So and that was like 5 years ago. I think he was a 16-year-old youth product. So I'm happy to see that he's finally, he's finally starting a place in a top team, right? So good for him.
Apparently, apparently he's Cole Palmer's best friend, so people think that's why he's being kept
Wow.
around. So that doesn't help. Apparently, he's really popular in the dressing room. They all call him uncle and stuff like that. Man
How
City
old
youth
is he?
product. I mean,
It's not uncle
it,
age, right?
it's a. I guess he's more a joke about height and appearance. But Man City youth product, which is a recipe for success at Chelsea, right? Palmer. Okay, well, just Palmer.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's why they're best friends. So the Man City youth product connection thing.
They bought most of the Man City B team while Pep spends his money on questionable picks elsewhere. Palace, Sam. Let's just sort of wrap up this whole wildcard chat about Palace. I mean, the one guy I don't have, and I'm really upset about it. I think I have to change this draft at some point. Is Danny Munoz
Mhm.
because he's getting DEFCONs and attacking returns now.
That's what I
But
was
is he
gonna
worth
say.
5.5?
Like when you were saying earlier, why would you have both Haaland and Salah because you can afford it? I would argue that you can upgrade certain places in your squad. Like Goodmanson does not have to be Goodmanson, right? I don't know how confident you are of Leeds defense, but he's not even getting DEFCONs. Like at least get someone who will get DEFCONs.
He's getting bonus points, man. That's better than DEFCONs.
That's only if they keep a clean sheet. How many clean sheets more? How many more clean sheets do you think they're gonna get the rest of the season?
He's my fifth defender, mate. Who cares?
I would upgrade Lacroix to Munoz. However, I think both of them are really good options, right? Like Munoz has a bigger attacking threat, and therefore he is priced higher, right? Like the price matches the expected points from them. I think Lacroix is doing a really good job keeping up at 0.5 mils cheaper. So I'm okay with both.
I've honestly had drafts where I just have Lacroix, Munoz. I don't have Goodmanson. Like I just take the money out of Gakpo and just get. And I think Munoz, Lacroix, Chalaba, and Tosin, I would honestly start every single week. I'd be quite comfortable with that. It's also why I don't have an Arsenal defender. I'm struggling to justify to myself paying an extra, say, 1 mil or zero point 0.5 mil for an Arsenal defender. Yes, I love Arsenal, but and in Gabriel's case, it's actually 6.1. I just don't see them getting any DEFCONs.
Yeah, no DEFCONs, but you get goals though from the defenders. Seems like that's where your main source of goals are from.
I don't
Corners,
know, man.
but not the centre backs though. it's the full backs, right?
Yeah, it's
Knocked
not the center
on by
backs.
the
I mean,
centre
Timber
back.
scoring from corners. It's it's weird.
Because the centre backs are busy like pushing the keepers and stuff to get the keeper out of the way. And it leads the full backs to score.
I mean, speaking of goal scoring centre backs, Nathaniel Chalobah has already scored this season, and Chelsea's set pieces look like they're cooking this season, right? They do seem like they're a threat each week from set
By
pieces.
the way, Siva, wrong Chaloba, brother. I don't know if you noticed, but you said Nathaniel. There's some deep football knowledge. Like I don't think many people even know that Trevor Chalobah is the younger brother of Nathaniel Chalobah. So
Showing our age, we start saying Nathaniel Chalobah. Forgot Nathaniel Chalobah was a 4.5 million midfielder who did nothing in FPL. Trevor
the
Chalobah, on the
Chelsea,
other hand,
he was a Chelsea wonder kid. Back in the day in the academy, like they were expecting really big things from him.
and didn't really pan out. But Trevor Chalobah, right? Enzo Maresca gave an interview that day, and he said he was most like best player for us this year in the year 2025. And I think he's come back. He's got a point to prove. Obviously, was loaned out to Palace, then recalled when they had injuries. He's come back. He's got his place in this team. Leverkusen is out for the season. Toss in, you can have like say 20% doubt if you want to have it because there are other options. Chalobah for me starts almost every game from now on. And I think again, 5 million starting Chelsea defender gets DEFCONs and is in a team that can keep clean sheets. What's not to like here?
Yeah, I think if I won a wildcard this week, Trevor Chalobah will be in my team as well. Like I have Cucurella, who I mean it's good. I mean you can't complain, right? He's returned all three of the. He's returned every game this season so far. Can't complain, but then you see Chalobah being one whole meal cheaper and scoring more points. Because Cucurella's not gonna get DEFCONs. So all you're hoping for is really attacking returns and bonus, which will comes rarer compared to the DEFCONs. So yeah, I would move out Cucurella for Chalobah if I were on a wildcard.
Yeah. And people will say points chasing, right? But honestly, I think if you're going for defenders who are getting DEFCONs and have done it in more than 2 games this season, I think that's a really decent start.
Yeah,
It just go ahead.
I think Paqueta would be points chasing, right? But players like Chalobah, players like you put Senesi in here as well, who has been a real DEFCON monster this season. I don't think that's point chasing. I think that's just recognizing a pattern and then following the most logical outcome.
Yeah, and I think for Forest, we're recognizing the logical outcome, which is that they aren't just going to DEFCON as much as they did last season. Clearly, the shift in style from being a transition team to a possession team affected them, and we don't know what they will do with Ange. There is
Yeah.
some stuff, and Rob T on FPL Twitter has posted about how Ange tends to make the other team better for DEFCONs. So who knows? Um, maybe Arsenal defenders start getting DEFCONs. But yeah, I think recognizing a pattern and going for it is not points chasing. Speaking of patterns, though, Sam, Antoine Semenyo. Okay, the only pattern here I see is that his price is going up and up and up each week. Started at 7 mil, he's already up to 7.4. Again, we spoke about this a few weeks ago, and the annoying thing about Semenyo is he feels like one of those like really boring transfer, like very obvious, good fixtures, nail, 90 minutes guy, will score goals, just keep shooting every week. Eventually, one of those shots has to go in. But we've all got more exciting transfers to make. On Wildcard, though, no brainer, no?
I think so. Yeah, good fixtures. Bournemouth, we're all worried because half their team left, but they seem to be doing really, really well, if not maybe even better than they were, right? Like, and they're not even playing their best players yet, right? Like, Justin Kluivert still not starting. In his place, David Brooks, Tavernier has come in despite not playing that much last season, and they've been doing really well. So kudos to them, right? They look good. I think Senesi is a no-brainer to have at 4.5, 4.6 now. But like, and the thing about DEFCONs though is you cannot play the rotation game. Like, forget about fixture rotation. You just keep them in your team. Hard fixture, easy fixture. Just let the points slowly tick in. Yeah.
Yeah, I think really decent fixtures for Bournemouth. And as you say, right, they've just picked up Dave Brooks. I mean, Dave Brooks is really inspiring, right? Man went out, beat cancer, took a year off, has come back, looks a proper Premier League player. Yeah, Semenyo to me just like very easy pick. And I really am keen to see what happens the next penalty to get if Clivert is not on the pitch. I'm really keen to see if he just tells Evan Nelson, let me have this one. But yeah, they dominated Spurs. That was like a very convincing victory. Brighton, defensively, I back Bournemouth. Newcastle, Leeds, Fulham, Palace. Yeah, these are good fixtures. So yeah, for me, Semenyo, very easy to own. For me, the only real question is, do you go Senesi and Diakite, or Senesi and Trufe, or Senesi and Petrovic?
Tough one. Do you need to double up?
It's a mindset thing. Like you'll think, oh, double up is too much, but they're just really good at that price point. There isn't another 4.5 million defender or keeper I really want. Because in terms of keepers, 4.5, you're looking at maybe Robin Roofs from Sunderland. Yeah, that's about it. 4.5 defenders, Tossin, who I already have. And then, I don't know, maybe Diouf at West Ham.
Yeah. Okay. I see your point. If you look at it independently, right? Like we are thinking, oh, I'm doubling up or anything like that. Petrovic does seem like the best 4.5 keeper.
Yeah.
And I would go, Petrovic and Senesi if I had to choose two of those backlines, simply because Diakite doesn't seem to be getting DCs. He's got it, but he's been close though, so
Yeah.
not that far behind. Truffet looks really, really attacking, really, really good, but no attacking returns yet and no DC. So yeah,
Yeah. And I suspect attacking fullbacks are going to struggle this year to deliver enough FPL points. Because we like attacking fullbacks because their returns come once in a while. Like even Diouf, his XA data is very scant. I think it's like 0.12, his XA for the Forest game. So he got an assist, which is great, and he did well. But it's much harder for him to replicate that assist every week than it is for Senesi to go and get 10
yeah.
DCs.
I mean, like at this level, you would be happy if your defender gets like 4 assists in a season. You know what I mean? Like 4 or 5 assists. That's great for a wing back at this team.
But a guy who's
DCs,
DCing
yeah,
every other week will easily outmatch that.
that's the way to go. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. 4 centre backs at the back. Um, let's sort of briefly touch free hit, Sam, because some people are on free hit this week. For reasons I don't totally
Mm.
understand. But if you're free hitting this week, who do you have to have?
It's a really tough week to free hit, right? Like not many of the big teams has good fixtures. Obviously, triple Liverpool.
Yeah.
If I was on a free hit, I would go. I would go Van Dijk. I don't want to say Salah, but logically it should be Salah. And one last ride with Akitike, I think that will be my free
Yeah.
hit. Right, Van
I'd
Dijk
probably
as
go Gakpo,
well.
I think.
DC monster. The only difference is that he costs 6, whereas Senesi costs 4.5. But Van Dijk's been
I,
getting like 30 DEFCONs or something. Like, it's
I
insane.
mean, yeah. Yes, against Arsenal, he had something like 20, right? Or something stupid. Oh no, it was the Newcastle game. I think that is very much a sort of limited to circumstances thing. I would just get Gakpo if you're on free hit. I think you go triple attack because I mean Bournemouth conceded 3 to United, right? If you can concede 3 to United, I mean, imagine what 7-0 against Liverpool.
True, that's true. Um, I would go Haaland. I would go. Everyone else in City is injured, right? I'll go
You go
Newcastle,
Haaland,
I guess. Newcastle is a good fixture against Wolves. Mm,
yeah. Newcastle, I think the defenders look really nice. I think you get Dan Burn, you get Livramento, who I was really impressed against Leeds. I thought he gets really into good attacking positions. Triple Palace, obviously, against Sunderland.
yeah,
Get
the only
Munoz,
problem
get
is that
Laporte.
their best attacker to have, which is Sa, is injured right now. So I struggle to find an attacker to get from Palace.
You get Mateta, man.
Mm, I guess. How well would they do though without Sa? Now that they lost Eze as well, without. But we've been throwing these questions the whole time, and they still seem to get the job done. So
Yeah, I mean, I thought they would struggle without Eze. It didn't seem to hurt them against Villa. And they bought, Pino and Kamada. And if you like Pino Kamada's, you don't want to get caught in the rain. Um,
nice one. They have Jefferson Lerma.
my name Jeff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. They have the other essay, the one with the S instead of the Z.
yeah, they got Eze at home. That's why. So, I think they're fine.
Yeah. Jokes aside, I guess yeah. If I was on a free hit, Mateta, Lacroix, Munoz, right?
Yeah. And if you're struggling to afford defenders, I just get Fulham defenders. I saw Leeds against Newcastle. I could have watched the game for another 3 years. Neither of those teams were scoring. Um,
Yeah.
who knew? Bringing on Dominic Calvert-Lewin wasn't going to result in a goal. But yeah, so Fulham defenders very easy on this week.
That's about it, I think. Right? There are not really many options. Obviously, Senesi. You could roll the dice on an Arsenal player, I guess, against Forest in
Oh, yeah.
transition.
Arsenal defense, I think is very easy this week. I wouldn't mind getting Christian Mosquera, 5.4 million. Will start with Saliba being out. Basically, plug and play for. He looked very good at Anfield, I thought. Gabriel, yeah, you could have.
Piero Hincapi. I don't. I hope
Yeah,
I'm not
Pierre
butchering
Hincapié.
it. Yeah. Okay.
Yes,
He could start.
Ecuadorian centre back, but not gonna start. I mean, Ecuador played. We're recording on Wednesday, and Ecuador played basically like late Tuesday night. So I don't think that's one thing that's good about Danny Munoz circling back to Palace. Doesn't matter how late he comes back from South America, Glasser still plays him, and he still puts in a decent performance. Uh, on the other hand, that is a bad thing about Lucas Paqueta because Brazil played in Bolivia yesterday, 4,000
And
meters above
lost.
sea level, and lost.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't know. Would you roll the dice on Gyökeres if you're on a free hit?
Ooh, that'd be tempting. That'd be very tempting, just for fun. But I'm not sure Victor Gyökeres would be in the top three attackers this week for me. Having said that, and we have the odds here from Check the Chance. Um, Now, this was taken, I think, a few days ago, but Gyökeres was ranked top, which I find bizarre given the fixtures on paper to me. But I assume this is Isaac eating into Salah's share of expected odds goals, because I think normally Salah's top of this chart. So this, I think, relies on your own understanding of minutes. Like, I don't think Isaac starts. So I think a lot of his share sort of defaults back to Salah and Ekitike. I like that Gyökeres is top of this list. I do think it's a good fixture for Arsenal, but I don't know, man. Haaland, Mateta, João Pedro seems like just a very easy front line to me. Maybe Ekitike over João Pedro if you're on a chip or a free hit, not a walkout.
Yeah. Fair. It
Okay,
feels
so
just
let's.
too big of a risk, right, to go for Gyökeres, especially with the other fixtures that other forwards are having.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think other people have, to me anyway, on paper. But the odds say something different. So, if you want a reason to go for Gyökeres, let's see the numbers change. Captaincy, Sam. So people who have Salah, this is pretty easy. People who don't have Salah, aka you, which couch are you hiding behind this week?
It's either gonna be Akitike, like one last dance, I guess. I think he'll do well against Burnley. I don't think he starts starting. Or Haaland. It's very painful for me as a United fan, but he just always scores a lot against United.
I mean, fair play to you, Sam. Captaining a striker who you know isn't going to play 90 minutes. I tried that with Chris Wood the last game week, and very annoyed that I forgot about Jesus, and I tricked myself into thinking Wood was nailed. You, on the other hand, Sam, Hugo Ekitike, I mean, you'll be pleased to hear that Hugo Ekitike, despite getting called up to the French squad, is still very well rested
Yeah.
because he came on 96 minutes for 60 seconds and did not touch the ball against Iceland.
Fresh leg, had a good run. Legs all warmed up.
I would say that he's regretting his decision to go France over Cameroon, but then Cameroon lost to Cape Verde, uh, courtesy of Andre Onana making Andre Onana mistakes, and might not even make the World Cup. So if Hugo Ekitike gets there, fair enough. I think Ekitike is an okay captaincy option. I think if you don't have Salah, I think it's okay. Although it's only 80 minutes, I think it's Burnley. Fair enough. Haaland though, Sam, you got to be tempted though.
I'm tempted.
What's your
I'm
read
very
on United after
tempted.
game week 3?
We will concede, but we may score. Not will. We may score. Because the underlying stats are there, right? Like we are creating chances, we are doing a lot of good stuff. We just can't seem to score. City, on the other hand, do not look defensively solid, right? So I think there's a good chance that United can score. So I'm happy still having Bruno. Yeah, if I had Bruno, I would be happy still playing him this week. If I have Mbeumo, I'm happy to play him. I think a goal could come as well. But City is probably going to win, and Haaland will probably score a lot. That is my take.
Yeah, I'm not gonna disagree with the Haaland scoring a lot. I like it as a fixture. I thought United. I mean, the Burnley game just really sort of epitomizes defensively just not solid, and I don't think Lamens will start. So although
I think he
it's
will. Um, yeah, I actually think he will,
it's a pretty
irrespective
big
of that
game
though.
to throw in Belgium's fourth best keeper in, but
Is he? No, he's Belgium's starting keeper.
he didn't even make the squad this mate. unless you,
Not,
unless
I mean,
there's some
because
under 21 squad I'm not aware of.
okay, no mind. This is not an international podcast, so I'll save. I was very tempted to go and Google that. But anyway, what I did Google though was Haaland's record against United, and it's 6 goals and 3 assists in 5 appearances.
Which is like the least relevant stat ever made. I mean,
Is
uh,
it?
y-
Is it though? Is it though? Do you not
Sam,
remember like certain players have teams that they do well against, and it's not like some freaky, some weird voodoo kind of stuff. Like I mean, it could be their play style, could be just a personal thing. Like we all know how Suarez used to do against certain teams, right? I think players can be like that, and I think United is that team for Haaland for whatever reason it may be.
okay. I'm sorry, Sam. I think this past team nonsense is completely irrelevant, especially when it's a team like United who have changed managers like they changed clothes, right? It's fine if you're talking about a team that's been managed by the same guy for the last 5 years. So you say an Arteta team, fair enough, okay? But with a team like United, with a manager who's all over the place anyway, it's irrelevant. It's a good game because it's Haaland against this United team. Uh, it's Haaland against Bayern there, or Haaland against Belgium's fourth best keeper. Either way, it's a good game for Haaland. Okay.
I'm gonna Google this. No, not
On the
now.
other hand,
Like after the podcast. Yeah.
you should, yeah. And so much other stuff we didn't talk about. We didn't talk about the effect of Donnarumma. We didn't talk about all these other new signings that we made. Fulham have signed Chukwueze. Like so many things have happened.
Which is why, Siva, I'm not activating my wildcard. I was really, really tempted, but I felt this year we had a really interesting deadline day. A lot of transfers in that I'm not really sure about, whether how it affect the existing players or whether I will want them. Like I'm pretty sure somewhere in the near future we are all gonna want Isak in the team, right? And I don't want to have to tear my team apart, like using the wildcard now and then having to do it again like 2 weeks from now. So, which is why I'm holding back, and it's taking a lot of self control to not click the button because I'm not happy. I'm not 100% happy with my team. But yeah, like you said, a lot of interesting transfers. I don't know how they'll do, but if it looks good, 2 weeks time, I think that's how much I'm giving it. Like maximum of game week 6. That'll be the. If not game week 5, then game week 6. That's when I'll activate my wildcard.
I like it, Sam. But in the meantime, just sort of feast your eyes on this as we leave you. But all reasonable justifications, Sam. And I think we've sort of hit our cap here, Sam. So take us out of here.
Get your green arrows, guys, and we'll see you next week.